All right. So this the first three problems take you about a minute to do or less. But I'll write them out for you. A little better. So now get started here. Okay, so our first polynomial was negative x cubed minus 9. So we make sure it's in the right order, which means it's got to be from the highest degree down to the lowest. Okay? Make sure our phones are away for a little bit. And all I worry about then when I do these problems is the first term there, the one in front. Okay? And then I look at, for far right, I look at the sign for the far right end behavior. If it's negative, like this one, the far right will be going down. Then I look at the exponent of this first term, the degree of the whole polynomial. If it's odd, like this case, then the two ends are going in opposite directions. So in this problem, far left is going up and far right is going down. Again, that's all I need to look at. For number 2, that's also in the correct order. So really, I'm just concentrating on the 1/2 x to the 6. That's the whole polynomial. Again, just concentrating on this and then looking at the sign of this. There's no negative out front. That means it's positive. That makes the far right going up. Okay, so the sign of our leading coefficient tells us the far right, up or down. And then our exponent, odd, they go opposite directions. Even, like this one, they go in the same direction. So this one, far left, is also going up. Now the third one is not written, typed up in the right order. You need to realize that the first term should be the negative x to the 7. That's what should be first, then the plus 8x squared, and then the plus 9. Okay, so again, I'm looking at this first term of the polynomial, and it's just like number 1. It's negative, so far right's going down, and my degree, my exponent is odd, so the far left is going up. Any questions on that? Like I said, those 3 problems you should be done with in the first minute. All right? Again, if you forget, you can type it in and put your calculator and look at what the graph looks like to be able to tell what the far left and far right is doing. Okay, number 4 and 5 is the one that takes a little time, but it's all calculator work. Okay, so number 4, we got x cubed plus x squared minus 25x minus 25. We could, we could factor it by grouping and figure out what the zeros are, but you got to find all the other stuff. So I just go ahead and tell you can put it in your calculator. All right. So x cubed plus x squared minus 25x minus 25. Okay, so it went up first, and then I saw it come down and go up. Okay, so the far left was going down, and the far right was going up. And it's a positive one, so far right's going up. It's odd, so the far left's going in the opposite direction. So we should understand that that's what's happening. Okay, so got to find the zeros. That's one of the things I asked you to do. Okay, so if you want to sketch it, And then you just want to label those 3 zeros where that crosses the x-axis. You can do that. That's -1, 2, 3, 4, -5. This one's a -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 5. I always go to my table to check to make sure that I was right on that. So -5 was a 0, -1 is a 0, as you can see. If I go down, you'll see that the 5 is a 0. Okay? So I can see 2 of the 3 in my table here. Any questions so far? Also in the table is my y-intercept, which I asked you to find. That's when x is 0. So there's our y-intercept. Okay. I still have to find the max and the min. So the min's going to be down here. Max is going to be up here. We just can't see it right now. Questions so far? Okay, so when you try to find min and max, okay, it doesn't matter which one you do first, but since I know the y-intercept's at 0, -25, my, we'll just like say this right here is -25 right there. Okay. I'm going to find the min first, because whenever you find max or min, when you start, the very first time you start, the cursor starts at the y-intercept. So that's a way you can find the y-intercept too. The first time you look for max or min. All right, how do I get there again? What do I hit? Second trace. Okay, and then that calculate menu comes up. You can find zeros if they're not whole numbers. You can find mins and maxes. You can find value of any point, any x value on this graph. You can find the y value if you hit the number, if you hit enter right now. If I want to know what y is when x is 2, I can hit enter now, put 2 in, and hit enter, and it'll find, it figures it out right away. Okay? Which might help with number 6 if you want. I'll show you that when we get to it. All right, so anyway, I'm going to do min first, so that's number 3. And as you can see, it starts out, it tells you, these two numbers tell you where the cursor is right now, and that's actually the y-intercept. Okay? So, since it's here, and just to make sure I'm thinking right, I'm going to hit the right arrow key once, and I'm going to see if this gets smaller. Then I know for sure that I'm left of the minimum points. When I hit that right arrow, it jumps down to -30, so it went smaller, right? So I know the left is right there, and then the right's going to be over here. Do we understand that that's going to be the left side of it and that's the right? Okay, so I'm going to hit enter for left bound, because I know for sure I'm left of it. Now I'm going to hit my right arrow key, and my cursor is going to be moving down, and eventually it's going to start coming back up. Once I see it coming back up, and I don't actually see it, I watch the numbers here for the y. I know I'm on the right side of it. Okay? So right now it's at -30, -35, -40, -45, -49, -53, 56, 59, so it's still going down. -62, -64, -65, -65 again. Usually when you see the same number twice, we're really close to it. Okay? -65 again, -64, -62. What's happening? It's starting to come back up, right? Negative 62 is bigger than negative 65, right? So I know I'm past it. I know I'm right of it. So I can hit enter now. Then it says guess, you're not done. A lot of people stop here and think that's the answer, 3 and negative 62. Okay, we got to hit enter for the guess. Then it'll say minimum, and then it'll tell you the point. So minimum is 2.6, negative 65.7. Just go to tenths is fine. Questions? So there's our minimum. Now when I hit second trace max, it starts where it's at right now. Okay, it won't start back at the y-intercept. I go back to my calculator, second trace, number 4 for max. See, it's at the left, at the minimum point right now. So I need to move left and go up, 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 and then when I start coming down, I'll know I'm where compared to the max. Left of it. Okay? So I'm just hitting my left area. You guys can hold it down with your finger, and it'll go much faster for you. Like I said, if I do it on this smartboard, and I hold that down for a few, it just like goes really fast, really crazy. So I gotta go a little slower. So it's getting bigger now. We'll see it here in a few. There it is. It's moving up. All right, so it's gonna go up and then it'll start coming back down. Then I'll know I'm left of it. So there's 11, 15, 19, 23, 26, 28, 30, 31, 32, 32, 31, 29. So it started to come down, right? So I'm left of it. So hit enter. And then I got to hit right till I do the same thing. It's going to go up a few, then it'll start coming down. Then I'll know I'm right of it. 31, 32, 32, 31, 30. So it's starting to come down. Hit enter. And then hit guess. So negative 3.2 and 32.5. Okay, so just sketch it. Doesn't have to be beautiful. And, where it crosses the X, label those points, label the Y-intercept, and the min and the max. Sometimes it has more than one min or more than one max, like the next one. Any questions? Calculator issues? Anybody having calculator issues? Yours working okay, Emma? Paul? Okay. Number 5. X to the 4th minus 8x squared plus 7. Okay, so go back to your y equals, hit clear, and type that in. Again, usually if you make a mistake, you just type it in wrong. So make sure you put it in right. And this looks like a W. Okay, when I go to my table, there's 2 zeros, but there's actually 4. Okay, so these 2 are whole numbers, but the other 2 are not, they're decimals. There's the negative 1, there's the 1. We got to find this one and this one. Okay? Now I know it's between the negative 2 and the negative 3 because the y is a positive and a negative. That's like number 6, right? It crosses, and you can see that it crosses between negative 2 and negative 3, right? So you go to second trace again, And then you do 0 for this one. Everything else is the same, not second graph, sorry, second trace. And 0 is number 2. And I'm going to get this one first since I'm already left it. But it starts where? Where did it start? The y-intercept. So let's answer that question right now. That's at 7. Okay. What else is that for this problem? That's also the max too, isn't it? All right, so don't waste time putting that in your calculator. It's also the max for this one. Sometimes that happens, that's all right. So all I got to do is find these two numbers and then the two mins. Okay? Right now we're working on the 0. All right, so I'm going to hit my right arrow key and I'm going to go down, start coming around. Okay? Left of this would be down here. Right of it would be up here. Does that make sense? You know, it's when it's skinny like that, it's kind of hard to tell. But if we would make it wide, you know, this is what it looks like, right? So up here's left, down here's right, down there's left, up there's right, over here's left, that's right. For this one, left, top, above it's right. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm there right now. See it blinking? So I'm gonna hit enter for left. Hit my right arrow key. I jumped above it, so now I'm right of it. Hit enter, and then enter for yes. And then it says 0, so it's 2.6. This looks symmetrical. So what do you think that is? Negative 2.6. That happens a lot, but just to make sure, you know, just do it again. Second trace, number 2 for 0. And now left's going to be above the x-axis. So this is a little nicer though because I can see it the whole time. And again, you guys can hold it down and get it there quicker than me. All right, now I'm left of it. Okay, above it's left of it this time, and below it's right of it this time. And it is, in fact, negative 2.6, which that's what we figured, right? Questions on finding zeros on your calculator if you have to. Again, go to the table first. Hopefully they're all whole numbers, but if they're not all whole numbers, then you got to do it that way. But it'll find them for you. Okay, so we got to get the two mins. We got the max, right? So second trace, number 3. All right, and it's blinking right here. Am I left of this one right now? Yeah. So I'm just going to hit enter and go around the bottom. Start coming out. Now I'm right of it. And yes. Negative 2, negative 9. What do you think the other one is probably? Yeah. Not 0.9. Sorry. Negative 2, negative 9. This one is 2.9. It is. Thanks, Michael. Questions about the calculator now? Does that help? Some of you were still a little shaky, I think. Okay, good. All right, number 6. I give you a polynomial. And we're trying to find, we're using what we call the intermediate value theorem, but we're trying to find, or verify actually. So we're verifying that there is a 0 between the two numbers they give us, meaning that the graph will cross the x-axis somewhere between these two numbers. So we're looking for P of 3 and P of 4. So all I need to see is the two answers, and one should be positive and one should be negative to get credit for that. You just verify, you're verifying that in fact, there is a 0 between those two numbers. Okay? So there's a few ways to do this. You could plug 3 in, get the answer, plug 4 in, get the answer. Just in your calculator. You could do synthetic division, where you put 2, 3, negative 23, negative 42, make your line. You're going to put 3 in the little corner and 4 in the little corner. Whatever the remainder is, down at the bottom right, will be those two answers. And one should be positive, one should be negative. So that's another way to do it. The other way you could do it is this way. I think I showed you guys this already, but I'll just do it again. You can put it in the y equals. So you just type it in once, and then hit second trace value, so it graphs it quick for you. But you can see that it crosses between 3 and 4, right? But to get these two answers, x equals 3, and just hit enter, and it does it for you. So that's negative 30. And then you do the same thing. Second trace value, which is just enter, and put 4 in, you get the 42. So that's the third way you can do it. Questions? So you got to get a negative answer and you got to get a positive answer to get this right tomorrow. And they should be the right answers. Don't just make up a negative number and a positive number and write it down. Okay? We're good? Jillian, is that working for you? You keeping up okay? Okay. If you got a question, I'll help you. Okay. All right, number 7, you'll have a factored polynomial just like this one. And I'm looking for you to tell me what the 0 is and what does the graph do at that 0. Does the graph cross the x-axis at that 0? Or does it hit it and not cross? Meaning, I call that bouncing off. Okay? So, that's the two things I want. So I want the 0 and I want crosses or bounces underneath it. All right, what's this 0? Negative 4. It's the opposite, right? What's this one? 5. We all okay on that? If we miss that, I'll have to come smack you Tuesday when I see you upside the head. No, I won't do that. Now, what you look at is the exponent. I hit blue, didn't I? All right, look at the exponent. If the exponent is odd, like this one, the graph actually goes through, crosses the x-axis at negative 4. If the exponent is even, like this one, then it intersects but does not cross, which I call bouncing off. If you're not sure, you don't remember odd or even, just graph it and look at it, and you'll be able to tell. And you just can, when you hit your y equals, just put it in, just like it was given to you. Just use your parentheses, x plus 4 to the third, parenthesis, x minus 5 to the 6, and then watch the graph. Over here it went through, over here it's going to bounce. All right? Any questions? All right, so this grade, today's, was your first grade of the new 9 weeks, the third 9 weeks. And then tomorrow's quiz will be the second, or the first quiz grade, first summative grade of the new 9 weeks. Okay? And the date on those two will be next Tuesday, so it goes in the right spot. So if you don't see it, that's where it is. Any questions? Good? Look good, feel good? You are good.